First off, we're a 2005 California C Corporation. So we've been in business for coming up on 11 years. Yeah. The Chief Technical Officer, Bob Ehlers, used to work at Intel as an engineer. We're a small minority-owned company, women-owned company. We deliver leading-edge intelligent wireless IP video solutions for those 10 years, and we have an ecosystem approach. Various customers that we have, projects that we've delivered. I'm not going to go over all of them, but there's a couple that we're going to go into in more detail on the next page. But you can see that we work with starting with the U.S. Army, FEMA, Bethesda Naval Hospital, Baltimore Grand Prix. A couple that I'm going to focus on is the 2013 presidential inauguration, and then also on the right-hand side, you'll see the third one down is Alba Aluminum Smelter in Bahrain. Those are two major projects that we're going to talk a little bit about. So first off, this gives you a view of some of those. The bottom left, you'll see it says the HotMesh Emergency Service Pneumatic Wireless System. Those yellow, there's 9 yellow suitcases. That's half of what was deployed at the 2013 presidential election, and inside each of those suitcases is one of our HotMesh mobile wireless routers. Now, here you go, Robert. How many bands of signal does that handle? Does Wi-Fi and cellular and what else?
We can do public safety bands, 900, 2.45 gigahertz. As well as cellular. It has 2 cellular or USB ports available to it, so we can do simultaneous 2 different cellular providers as backup.
Okay. So essentially what happened in the 2013 presidential inauguration on the mall, there was 980,000 people, almost 1 million people on the mall. They're all pulling their cell phones out, talking and texting and doing everything else, and all the cell networks pretty much crashed.
Yeah.
And no one was able to make calls, and they couldn't get out except the emergency responders that were on site using our mesh network, where 18 of these were set up. They were able to communicate with each other and connect to the, well, what kind of devices were they using?
So they were using a combination of laptops and personal computers and tablets, and essentially these were strung out all throughout the capital area, and one unit was able to get signal from the next neighboring cell tower and was bringing in internet connection to that unit, which then of course meshed over to the rest of our units, and they were all able to automatically configure one another to find that access point and get communication outwards. So that's its primary function and feature, is that backup failover capability. It'll go through all the available frequencies, the 2.45 gigahertz, and find out nearby units which one can communicate out and route traffic through there. So that was the main reason why they were able to continue their communications while the other tower and the rest of the public there were unable to. So it's a very, very robust unit. As you can see, it's NEMA enclosure based, and we used it for years and years, and especially government entities, they love it for failover properties. So it is a very, very unique piece of equipment.
And in that particular application, the emergency responders, people were having medical emergencies and they had to communicate out, and they were able to do that by using our HotMesh system.
Yeah, they were triage points is what they were for healthcare, people that had some sort of issue, got injured or something along those lines. That's what they were using the information for. They were able to communicate to every other trauma, or not trauma center, but healthcare point, and triage, and communicate with one another and back to other locations that were if necessary. So it was a really, really neat experience, not for the public, but for the public safety. They were very impressed with its capabilities.
Also, we'll move on to the bottom right picture. You'll see a large aluminum smelting plant. That's the one in Bahrain, and it's behind.
It's behind there.
Yeah, they'll see it. And for that project, we're actually right now, it's been a several-year project, and they're installing right now. We shipped about 80 HauteWRAP routers to And then I'm going to go on to the next picture here. You'll see the router is, there we go. This is what a HauteWRAP, actually a repeater station looks like, because it's a little thicker than the base stations or the access points. But using these routers along with various antennas, about 80 of them so far, we've set up perimeter video for the smelting plant. And one of the big challenges with that is they're using arc welding basically to melt the aluminum, and that creates tremendous radio interference. But by working with us, the integrator and the end user is getting a clear video being transferred from how many? Do you have any idea how many cameras they're using?
In the hundreds. I don't know an exact number. We haven't really nailed down exactly how much. They are using the units for almost 250 megabits throughput on the link. So they are getting quite a few cameras. At the far end, they are using a PTZ camera for not gate access, but for gate viewing, live viewing. And so, and I think they're planning on doing license plate recognition also. So that unit is fully functioning, going through, I believe, 7 or 8 hops, and is still controllable from the control center, is what they call it, where they view all the cameras incoming and have their alarms and things of that nature. So it's definitely a big challenge with the radio interference there. But these units, all our units come with tools, scanners, and different types of software to find out what frequencies we can actually use that are not being interrupted by electrical magnetic interference from all the machinery that's going on.
Yeah.
And so that's the major challenge with that project, is making sure we're out of those.
Well, one of the things I wanted to mention is that on some projects that we work on, we'll work with the integrators and the end users. And one project in particular, I think recently we were talking to our Chief Technical Officer, Bob, and he suggested that we could actually go out to a location. The particular one we're talking about is a university in the Midwest. They're going to put up 30 to 50 cameras on their parking lots, but they have a lot of technical facilities inside their buildings. So we can put one of those HotMesh units or a couple of those HotMesh units out, those yellow suitcases, and set them up overnight and get a spectrum analysis over a 24-hour period to find out what kind of radio interference exists on site, and then from there be able to help design a system that works in that particular environment. So that's one of the things that we can do in conjunction with the integrators and the end users. Of course, somebody has to fly us out to wherever the location is and put us up, but we want to make sure that the installation goes well. And the whole process is we want to work with the integrators who have the ability to actually get these set up with our help. Robert, this picture that you see here, it says corrosion and moisture prevention, is actually from a 56 slide presentation just on preliminary installation. So if you're an integrator and you have any questions about installation, we're putting together classes, slide presentations, and other additional support to make sure that the installation goes correctly. The other thing that we'll mention is that Robert just mentioned is there's 250 megabits per second throughput on a single link. We're now using 802.11ac, which has basically doubled our ability to put throughput. And we can actually use this unit. I'm going to go to the next slide. This is what it looks like. This is another slide from our installation class. Again, there's 52 pages or so in that class. We're just showing you 2 of them. The center is the unit itself, and then above and below are 2 23 decibel panel directional antennas. We can attach different antennas. We've got one design that we're working on some water towers outside of New Orleans where the leaps are about 10 miles, 11 miles plus. And instead of using these antennas, we'd use parabolic antennas. The design that you see right here, it looks like these are pointed in exactly the same direction. So it would not be used as a repeater. if you could imagine the top antenna was twisted, pointed to the right, the bottom antenna twisted, pointed to the left, it would act as a repeater, taking the signal from the left and then sending it to another station to the right. Using that configuration, we've sent the signal 17 miles over a mountain for a local winery here outside of San Luis Obispo. But the way, if they're pointing the same direction, then we would have a unit like this, 3 pieces at the other end, and we configure it with the integrator so that the bottom link would be sending in one direction and the top link would be sending back the other direction, and we basically double the throughput up to about 500 megabits per second. That's going to be a full duplex link. So we have that ability, again, to provide extremely high throughput. We have a customer up on the northwest, I think it's an Indian tribe, that is using full duplex links to send all their telephone, voice over internet protocol, video, security cameras, all kinds of stuff through these full duplex links, and if one link fails, the other can act as a backup, so there's not the chance of it going, failing completely. One of the things I'll show you is Robert has helped us design. I'd like to bring you up to snuff on how we actually can design a system. This is a design that Robert and I have been working on with one of our integration firms. This is what it looks like when it's complete. I'm going to take you through a real quick demo of how it gets assembled. First off, this building in the bottom left corner is going to be the only access to internet. This is going to be a ranch or a farm where they have guests and events and seminars and stuff, so they have numerous buildings involved, but only one internet access in this bottom left building. So the first thing we do is we put a station in there connected to the internet station 2 plus Omni. The Omni antenna would actually provide Wi-Fi access to anybody walking around with a cell phone or tablet. Then what we would do is put one of these full duplex stations in that building and send the signal up to this building, which is number 2, where we have another full duplex receiver, just like the video or the picture that you saw a minute ago. So that's a full duplex link between those 2 locations. I'll go ahead and remove the symbols. This far building, what we would do is add another repeater station with a 17-degree decibel antenna and an Omni. The Omni would provide Wi-Fi access in that area approximately. And then also across the street, there'll be cameras in the building across the street, so we'll have a station connected to that, sending the signal back to building number 2. Then there's also a gate where we put access to the top left, so that it'll provide access to the gate controls, opening, shutting. And then a second gate to the right where we put in a station there. Then there's a picnic area off to the right near the lake, and for that we'll put in a link to a repeater station there with an Omni antenna that covers the Wi-Fi for any guests that are out picnicking. Again, there's additional cameras and Wi-Fi accesses in this area. I'm not going to take you through the whole process again. The bottom line is, after it's completed, this is what the whole design will look like. And we're assisting the integrator with this design and with the presentation to the end user. So if you're an end user, just make sure you've got an integrator that can communicate with us, share with us exactly what your goals are, and together we and the integration firm can design something that'll work for you. Let's get back to the slide presentation. The next is, well, let's take a look and see, are there any questions so far? Any questions at this point? I'm seeing, no? All right, no, all right, then let's go on and talk about an ecosystem. First off, we'll look at to the right-hand side. As you can tell, we tie in internet access with video, with Wi-Fi access, with gate controls. Everything is tied in together. And we start with, at the very top, the HauteWRAP, which is the design that I showed you, which is our routers. That's our best-selling line, and that's kind of the backbone of our business, the fixed intelligent outdoor wireless routers. Just FYI, the protocols that we can use actually allow about twice as much throughput, especially in situations if it's, let's say there's a yard where you have mobile routers in vehicles, and you have 50 vehicles trying to download video from the in-car video systems. We're able to, well, what is that called? Non-collision, Robert?
Correct, non-collision. So it's TDMA-like protocol. Basically, the timing from each unit, it's got a specific timing. So each unit times itself right at the next jump of the next router, so that everyone is basically an ordered protocol. Each one of those gets its own timing frequency, and therefore there's no collision of typical wireless where they ask for permission and then they get a response back saying, yes, it's okay, send your traffic. So we basically have an ordered timing, basically, it's how it works. So everybody has their specific time, they transmit their specific time, and they get the response back at the specific time, and it works very, very smoothly.
So the bottom line is if you've got a lot of traffic going through Wi-Fi, we have the ability to make it go smooth and quick, and where other companies aren't going to be able to match our throughput and speed. Anyway, we start with the HauteWRAP. If you go around, the HotView is the body camera solutions, which we're going to go into in more detail and consist on the left-hand side of 3 new products. We continue around the circle with a HiveCam. That's actually a static mesh wireless video camera that goes on a pole and creates a mesh network. The micro NVR product line, network video recorders, can go in automobiles, as I was saying, like you have a bunch of cars and they come to a yard. The Hot Mobile is the Wi-Fi transfer from the mobile devices. HotMesh is the what we talked about before about the 2013 presidential election. That's a HotMesh system. And the next 2, ECM is Evidence Case Manager and HiveMinder, are both software programs. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on those quite yet, but we're going to go into it right here. The HotView line of products consists of basically on the left the HotView digital in-car video system, and on the right, the HotView 200 body cam. Those are the 2 hardware pieces to the HotView line. They're connected together using the CMS, or Central Management System, which is basically the viewer or computer program that allows you to see live video from either of those devices and see their locations live, and then also transfers the video. Another diagram that really explains it even better, this you might want to do a screen capture or ask us afterwards to send you a PDF of this diagram. The architecture of the whole HotView system is, first off, we capture the video using either the HotView 200 body cam or the HotView in-car system. And as you can see, the live video can be sent back to the in-car system from the body cam, or from either of those, it'll go to the CMS via the transmit step, which is either going to be cellular, 4G, 3G, or through a Wi-Fi access. Now, as this, let's say we've got a mesh network set up in with HiveCams around this campus, Robert, and there's an officer with a body cam. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that body cam can send that live video either through the cellular network, or if it's in the mesh network, it can send that signal through the Wi-Fi mesh network.
Yes, it's dual capable, so it will send out based on whatever signal it can get, either Wi-Fi connectivity to any of our devices, or through the cellular modem that has internal to it. So yes, it can definitely connect with the local Wi-Fi. That way you can save on cellular costs, especially for those accounts that don't get free cellular or unlimited cellular.
Now the next step is it's going to be both of these devices broadcast live video that either way. Also, they record the video in high resolution, full frame rate, evidence grade video with metadata attached. Now we can do a whole webinar on what kind of metadata can go on these. because the in-car system can be plugged into the diagnostics port of the vehicle and record the oil pressure, the RPMs of the engine. Both units have GPS, so they'll record speed, etc. But all that video and data is stored on the units and then transferred through substream for the live video. But later, when it comes to the Wi-Fi, home Wi-Fi network, it'll download the full resolution video. Correct, Robert?
Yep, that's how it does. That's what it does.
So it'll actually broadcast it twice, substream live, and then when it gets back to the main or home Wi-Fi network, it'll download the full stream. Now, where does it download it to? Well, first it goes through the live viewing gateway, which is the CMS, Central Management Service, and you'll see under there that you can watch the live video on any device, Android phone, a laptop, any kind of computer.
You have an iPhone now.
I have an iPhone, and on my iPad, I can watch live video from those devices. There are numerous servers. In order to accomplish that, you can see below I got 8 servers there. There could be less or more, but you're going to have a server that controls Robert, why don't you say a little bit about the servers, because that's more technical.
Don't get too technical with it, but there is 8 server processes running on a single computer. So it's not like we have 8 actual machines sitting somewhere in a room doing all kinds of stuff. The software itself starts up services and runs as services for various reasons, protocol passing, all the networking things it needs to be able to open up correct ports and get the traffic flowing to the correct storage locations, things of that nature. So it's not as bad as it looks on there. Don't think that there's these 8 machines that you're going to need for installation. It can be done on, even our micro NVR can handle it. It's probably not the best idea, but even basic computers, laptops, if you really wanted to do a small scale installation, would be able to handle it.
Yeah, in fact, we were conversing with a guy about a surveillance vehicle for a security company that we're going to put a micro NVR in the vehicle itself. Let's see. We're going to put a micro NVR in a vehicle, a little Dodge Caravan, and have a bunch of cameras hooked up to it and linking to mobile body cameras around it, and it could run the whole system right there. But then once the video is downloaded, it goes through, as you see, the transfer/retrieve step. It uses Evidence Case Manager, which is our computer program that will direct the video into either short-term, mid-term, or long-term storage. And that storage can be, local server, cloud storage, or tape storage. So it's open to numerous options.
Yeah. So if they already have some storage option available to them that they want to continue to use and expand on, the system will allow us to use those existing systems that are there. And if they decide that maybe that's not the best idea for them, since they're going to be getting so much more data, they need to move to a larger system or some other system for storage, then we have options. We can provide those kind of options for them as well. We can work with them and figure out what they need and possibly hand them off to one of our partners and see what they can work out.
And what this boils down to is, as an end user, you want to make sure that you use our products, but also work with one of our qualified integration firms that has the ability to deal with server installation and the support and the back end, because our HotView wireless architecture is not just boxes off the shelf plug in and work. Yeah. So we really need to be working with integration firms. And if you're an integrator that is on the conference webinar right now, and you're interested in actually carrying or selling, being a reseller of our HotView line, contact us after this to find out what our qualifications are. There's going to be some training and testing that we're going to require before we allow anyone to actually integrate these systems, because we want to make sure that the end user is taken care of and it doesn't become a tech support nightmare. In the end, we want to make sure that it's done correctly from the get-go. So again, contact us afterwards to find out the qualifications to be a qualified integrator. The next slide. This is actually what the central management system looks like if you were in a police station, control command center. But let me see if I can actually pull up the system right now. I've got both a little video I can play, or here is the central management system right now. You'll see on the left the way it works is we got several devices. Some are online and some are offline. The digital in-car video system right here. It'll show where it is located on the map. I can zoom in a little bit there. Okay, and I can switch to satellite, and you'll see a little body showing that's a body camera and then a digital in-car system. Right now I'm going to look at the under the digital in-car video system. There's a front view and rear view. We can have 4 cameras attached to each in-car system. So if I turn on the rear and front views, we've got this actually hooked up in our office, pointing out the front door. So you'll see the video pop up. And then the HotView 200-1.
You want me to go walk outside so they can show that it's live view?
Oh, no, that's all right. We can do that. But you can see this is how it looks. The couple things, we can switch back to the video, and I can zoom in, select just the one video to zoom in and see that's the in-car system. Now, if Bob is out in Washington, D.C. right now dealing with some government agencies and stuff, negotiating some contracts for the use of this product. But you'll notice on the bottom left, the status, that'll tell us the status of each of our systems. You'll have controls over pan, tilt, zoom, color, and VoIP. So both our in-car systems and our body cameras allow intercom back and forth, to the dispatcher. It's not going to be a replacement for the radios, but it's a backup to it. There's down here, you see this is alarms, can be set up. These are fully programmable devices. I was talking to Bob yesterday, and Robert, you may not have even heard this. Bob was talking to one of the government agencies that does interjurisdictional work, across states and counties. And each state and county is going to have different rules for a body camera. And the HotView 200 can be programmed through GPS locations to how to record, whether, what kind of frame rate, resolution, different resolutions, things can be programmed into it. So if an officer's got a body camera and they're driving from one state to the next, when the GPS says they're in the next state, it'll change those settings. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of police body cameras, is the officers don't know how to use it and what the rules are, and it takes away from their primary job of dealing with the public. And when we can program into the cameras and the in-car systems how they're functioning, then that takes that out of the hands of the police officer and allows them to actually do their job, and they get protected from liability, etc. But as you see on the left here, we've selected a couple of devices. And when it's fully functional, it's fully scalable. We could have 200 in-car systems and 400 body cameras on the road all at once. And you can select between them. That'll take additional servers to manage that. But we don't want to get into those details. But you can see there's a number of different tabs at the bottom, so we can go through all kinds of different video screens and searching. I'll go back to the slide. Now, why should you care about all this technology, right? Well, the benefits to you of using HauteSpot products, number one is cost of effectiveness. If you're looking at our fixed wireless systems, you avoid the cost of trenching, digging trenches, laying cables. I don't want to quote anything in particular, but I had a conversation with a guy down in, I think it was Nassau, Bahamas, or somewhere down in the Caribbean. And they were looking at putting up some cameras at the end of a pier. And what he told me was that he priced out running cabling at about $75,000. And the price of our system to do it wirelessly was between $4,000 and $5,000. So that gives you an idea of the cost savings that you can have based on your particular project that you're working on. Also, it's much more quick deployment. We can get these products up and running much faster than it takes to lay cables or wires. And same with the body cameras. We can get this set up for you very quickly. And everything is expandable based on your budget. So if you want to get some body cameras, that's one step, and then down the road get digital in-car video systems. They go together, and you don't have to get one to get the other. If you get the in-car systems, you can add body cameras later, so it's all expandable. And as I said, you can start out with 10 body cameras, and then as you go up to 50 or 100 or 500, we can add servers and expand on it and keep the functionality complete. Also, a big thing is low power consumption. Robert, do you want to say something about our low power consumption, particularly on our fixed wireless?
Yeah, those wireless units really at very little throughput are down to 5 or 6 watts. Max usage, full throughput, we typically get about 12 to 15 on the very high end, but they are very low power units and can be done with solar power installations as well. So they really are low power devices, but very high performance. So great for those kind of out of the way kind of installations where there is little or no power. You can do with solar power.
Yeah, and we don't sell the solar power, but if you have solar power situations, definitely our low power consumption saves you money on
benefit,
you don't have to buy great big panels to keep them running.
Yep.
And also because we're flexible, and also here's the thing, excellent customer service and support. I've got Robert here. This guy's brilliant. I don't know what I'm talking about, but but everything I learn, I just ask Robert and Bob, who's, like I said, in DC. And these guys know so much. They amaze me. So
don't let Brad fool you. He's a smart cookie himself, so he catches on pretty quick. So we're a good team, I think. Yeah.
So we're here to help not only the like I said, the sales, our sales reps that are on the line. And the integrators, again, don't be afraid of asking us for help. Please do that. Also, the end users, one of the ways we work with the integrators, we really require that we get to know the end users as well. Because if there's some integration firms don't let us or don't want us to talk to the end users, but the bottom line is if we don't talk to them, that hurts customer support. So
yeah, and like with the other project where the farm had these different places, that system was built with the customer in mind. When the integrator brought that into us, we really wanted to talk to the end user, trying to find out what his purpose in setting up all these places was. And for him, it was about the guest experience, and having the guests be able to access the internet in places they don't normally associate internet access with. So that one was done with that in mind, and that's kind of the reason why we want to make sure that we understand what the end goal for the end user is, and that way we can come to a good solution for them that'll give them years of trouble-free service.
Anyway, the bottom line is that we can solve problems when others can't. The name of our company is HauteSpot. It's H-A-U-T-E, which is in German is pronounced Haute. And if you're ever familiar with the best women's clothing, it's called Haute Couture. And Haute means the highest or the best. For wireless connectivity, HauteSpot or HauteSpot, as we pronounce it, is going to provide you with the highest quality, longest lasting, lowest cost solution, no matter where you're at. We're not going to be the lowest price, but when you consider the durability and long term, it's going to be the lowest cost and best solution. So.